practice football, shall we? Jets taking on the Giants. Russell Wilson getting the start for the Giants. Opening drive, 1st and 10. Their own 19. Wilson has time. Wilson deep across the field. That is Bo Collins. Collins, a man on a mission, a man down at the 1. 80-yard gain. And a touchdown. Second quarter, it's not Jaxson Dart in for Wilson. Dart, screen. Theo Johnson. Johnson going to get loose. Not 80, but will you settle for 30? Then Wilson comes back in for a play and does this. 2nd and 3 at the Jets 35. Wilson fakes a handoff, throws deep. Problem is, he wanted Collins. Quantez Stiggers does not play for the Giants, sir. Wilson, frustrated. Don't say that I blame him. Let's bring back Dart. Dart fakes the toss, finds Greg Dulcich. That is a score. Giants take a 14-6 lead. Next Giants drive. Dart, this time rolling right, finds Juice Wells Jr., throws a stiff arm. Watch that. Boom, sit down. Inside the 1 where he is taken down. So the Giants on the move. And guess what? We're going to go back to Dart. Dart up the middle, quarterback sneak. 14 of 16, 137 yards, and 1 passing touchdown to go with that rushing touchdown. Giants won.
It is the definition of a quarterback competition out there for the Colts. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson. We'll start with Jones, opening drive, 2nd and 10, and a fumble. Less than ideal start to the drive. It was a rough one. Colts punt. Next drive, Jones still in there, trying to spin it. Does so to Michael Pittman Jr. Nice little snag on the sidelines. Fights for some extra yardage. A 22-yard gain on 1st down later in that drive. 1st and 10. Jones to Tyler Warren. Nice deep ball down the left sideline for 25 yards. They would get a field goal out of that. Jones would finish the day 7 of 11 with 101 and 2 drives. Second quarter was AR's time. 1st and 10 from their own 31. Flashing the arm talent, finding Drew Ogletree for 21 yards. Same drive, 3rd and 9, money down. And this is the natural ability that kind of sets Anthony apart. Able to step up, get a 9-yard gain on 1st down. His only rush of the game. A few plays later, hand it off to the running back to do the dirty work. Anthony Richardson finishes solid day. Colts lose, though.
Let's bring in Louis Riddick. Look, Shane Steichen said after that Colts game that he will name, and I quote, his QB1 soon. Soon has different meanings for all of us. Who would you pick between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones to be your starter?
Yeah, this is a tough one because really this is all about trust, Nicole. That's what it is. And it's about trust, not just in the short term, but for the duration of a 17-game season. Well, who would I pick? I'd probably start with Daniel Jones right now simply because I think that the coaching staff is going to trust that he's going to probably be able to sustain his level of performance that he saw in the preseason, maybe just a bit longer than Anthony, who can be so streaky and so hot and cold. And then if Daniel does start to falter, you can bring Daniel Jones back in there and continue on with his development. Like, I think this is a hell of a situation for head coach Shane Steichen to be in. It really is. Because Anthony Richardson was drafted to be the future. And as an organization, you don't want to give up on him. And I'm not saying that they are giving up on him, but I think right now coming out of the gate, probably a safer bet, as ironic as this may sound, considering how Daniel Jones' time in New York in particular ended, I think I would start with him, but I would have Anthony Richardson ready to go at a moment's notice.
It's also interesting that you use the word trust. Which one do I trust more in that situation? Okay, there is also another quarterback situation unfolding, this one in New York, because we saw Russell Wilson and Jaxson Dart in the game tonight against the Jets. Both of them had 100 yards against the Jets, although most of it came at least for Wilson on that one play. When you look at what the Giants are doing, when they're using both of the quarterbacks, how are they putting them in a position for them both to succeed?
Yeah, I think head coach Brian Daboll and offensive coordinator Mike Kafka are doing a great job of playing to their strengths. What Russell's strength his entire career has been the deep ball off of play action. And you saw that early in the game, that they call a deep shot, a deep post route like this, a double move, and he just lays it up there with a ton of air underneath it and lets the wide receiver just track it down. That's what Russ does best, and that's what they're really going to ask him to do here early on in the season. I think for Jaxson Dart, it was even more on display as far as them trying to get the rookie comfortable. What was his offense like down at Ole Miss? It was a lot of tempo, a lot of hurry up, and it involved him being in the gun, using a lot of different ball handling in the backfield in terms of maybe fake pitches, attacking the seams down the middle of the field, getting the ball out of his hands fast, and also utilizing his legs when need be, and allowing him the freedom to do that. You're seeing all this stuff come to fruition here in New York in terms of Jaxson being utilized in that way and then having success. I think that's exactly what coaches are supposed to do, and that's why I don't think it'll be long. And this isn't to be disrespectful to Russell, but I don't think it'll be long before Jaxson winds up playing for this football team this year, because he really does seem to be on a real sweet learning curve right now and on his way to being QB1.
It'll be interesting to see how they use them. Look, we don't get Lewis a lot on this show, so we're going to make him stick around for another segment. He wants to talk rookies. I think we'll allow it, so just stand by. Sports Center, Dylan Gabriel with the Browns, at least for now, taking on the Eagles. It's Gabriel's preseason debut. Remember, they started Shedeur Sanders last week. First quarter, first drive, Gabriel. Look at that. Jamari thrashed. That's a first down. Gabriel actually went 3 for 3 on third down during his first drive. Starting the second, though, rolls left, looking for Deontay Johnson, and that is not Deontay Johnson. Andrew Makuba takes that the other way. Adding insult to injury, that's not just a pick, that's a pick six. That gave the Eagles a 7-6 lead. Then under 2 minutes to go in the first half, now 2nd and 15 on the 33-yard line. So after the mistake, we're going to have some good from Gabriel. Gabriel drops back, fires this. Caden Davis turns that into a gain of 29. That's the longest pass of the day. Led to a Browns field goal. Competition is live.
You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but you know, it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all we want to do.
Well, that's a bit of a dig. Gabriel went 13 for 18, 143 yards and 2 turnovers. Here's Daniel Oyafusi.
The Browns quarterback competition took another turn Saturday as third-round pick Dylan Gabriel got his chance to start the team's second preseason game. And it was a mixed bag in 5 first-half drives, 3 that ended in scores and 2 that ended in turnovers, including a pick 6. Afterward, Coach Kevin Stefanski said there was plenty to clean up, but he was happy about the way Gabriel operated the offense. The Browns now shift their focus to the preseason finale, which Stefanski told me he would treat as a dress rehearsal, but was non-committal on naming a Week 1 starter ahead of the game. There's still health concerns with Kenny Pickett and Shedeur Sanders, but if next week is a true dress rehearsal, we could see Joe Flacco, who has taken almost all the first-team reps in camp, leading the starting offense. From Philadelphia, Daniel Oyafusi, ESPN.
This feels like a tradition unlike any other, because since 1999, the Browns have started 40 different quarterbacks, and only 3 of them actually have a winning record. Now, of those 3, Joe Flacco is on the list. He's actually among those competing for this.
Or less, maybe? Anyway.
It has to be at least 2 minutes.
At least, okay. We got Patriots, Vikings, third.